I read your book, extremely thrilling. It reminded me of my 8 days in jail. The only difference was that my only torture was boredom, and what you went through, 99 days, I just cannot comprehend that after my 8 days of boredom in jail, I just cannot comprehend how anyone can spend that much time in captivity. And then, of course, having to, after all that, this struggle to escape, and it's when you read the details, it must have been touch and go on various occasions. And then to be interrogated by your own agencies for treason. You are lucky that it was then. If it was now, you would have been a missing person. But it is one of the most painful periods of Pakistan's history. It's painful because what happened need not have happened. Now, I was playing an under-19 match at that time in Dhaka, just before the 25th of March. In fact, we were the last flight out of Dhaka. And when West Pakistan under-19 played East Pakistan under-19, it was actually during the match was the first time I realized how serious the situation was. Because we were completely shielded from the actual situation by totally state-controlled media. Television, newspapers. If you read, you had no inkling what was going on in East Pakistan. So it was only when we started playing this cricket match, I began to discover the anger amongst the people of East Pakistan against us. And I was too non-political then to actually understand what was going on, because again we were shielded by the media. You cannot imagine, these days the young people cannot imagine how powerful a media censorship is. So the first shock was when we played this match, and we saw the Bangladesh cricketers putting stickers behind the cricket bats for Bangladesh. That's the first time I heard of the East Pakistanis calling them a name Bangladesh. And then I remember having dinner with the captain of the Bangladesh team, who later became a very close friend, Ashraful Haq. And Ashraful Haq told me what was going on in Dhaka and in East Pakistan. And then he was one of those who was dying for Pakistan not to be broken up. And I remember him saying that he really wished that some sort of solution takes place. But of course, as our flight left, it was the last flight out of Dhaka, military operation started, and quite rightly, as Brigadier Siddiqui said, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto landed at Karachi airport and said Pakistan has been saved. Brigadier Siddiqui didn't take the name, I have taken the name. And then of course, I get selected for the Pakistan team and end up in England. And in England we had these demonstrations by people from East Pakistan. There were demonstrations against the atrocities that were going on. So I spent all that time till the surrender of Dhaka, right up till 1974, protecting, saying that no Pakistan army could, or this could not be happening in Bangladesh, because there was on BBC, you were seeing pictures for the first time of the sort of killing that was going on. थोड़ी सी आपको मोशी है। So we were being told, in the Western media, we were being told about the number of people killed in hundreds of thousands. And here's me in university saying that this is not true, this is Indian propaganda, this is Western propaganda, this is BBC. Until in 1974, I met the same Ashraful Haq, who was then the captain of East Pakistan team. So when he came, I was in university and he came to see me, and so the first thing I asked was that this all propaganda must be wrong. Sadly, what Ashraful told me made the biggest impact on my life. It was then, 1974, I decided I would never ever back military action against our own people. I don't want to say I don't blame the military, because there are very fine military people sitting here. Ali Kuli Khan, of course, has joined Tehreek-e-Insaf, so I have even more respect for him. It is those people who order the military against civilians. Anyone who sends military in civilian areas is bound to commit human rights atrocities. An army is not equipped to be in civilian areas. And so should not blame the army. We should blame the one who ordered the army on the 25th of March. And what happened? And so now I fast forward to 1989. Same Ashraful Haq is now the chairman of the cricket board in Bangladesh. And he invites me, I'm now the captain of Pakistan team, so he invites me to play a match, exhibition match against India in Dhaka. So I thought it was an exhibition match, didn't take it very seriously. And as usual, I always had trouble with the cricket establishment. Nothing much has changed. So they did give me the proper Pakistan team, and I just took first-class cricketers from Pakistan with about 3 test cricketers, the rest were all first-class cricketers. So I arrived in Dhaka thinking that this is just an exhibition match. I arrived in Dhaka, and the Pakistan ambassador, there to receive me. And he then looks at the team and he says, "Where is Miandad and where are all the cricketers?" So I said, "Well, board didn't send them, but don't worry, these are Pakistani players." And I did not realize why he was so shocked, because the whole of Bangladesh was now waiting for this Indo-Pakistan clash. India, of course, sent their full team. So anyway, to cut a long story short, 50,000 people in Dhaka Stadium. And this Pakistan team ended up beating the Indian team. This is not intended to talk about our cricketing prowess. But what happened afterwards is what I want to tell you. 50,000 people in the stadium was shouting in one voice, "Pakistan Zindabad." And 5 miles from the stadium to the hotel, there were people lined up cheering Pakistan Zindabad. And that's when I fully realized the tragedy of East Pakistan, what we did to those people, our people. When Pakistan won the World Cup in 1992, there were celebrations in Dhaka in the streets. So what we did to them, and then we never learned anything from the sordid history. It's so shameful that we have kept repeating the same thing over and over again. Humud report was published 25 years later in India. And if you read the Humud report, you would see that we have been doing exactly the same thing in Balochistan and in our tribal areas. And the awful thing is that, as Brigadier Siddiqui said, I, as an 18-year-old, remember listening to people saying, "Kill the Bingos. It's good to teach them a lesson. We will teach them a lesson." I heard the same thing when our army was using aircrafts, helicopter gunships, artillery from 20 kilometers away shelling villages in our tribal areas. And I heard people who I thought were liberals calling me a hardliner for opposing the war. Everywhere I remember liberals always being anti-war. But in Pakistan, so-called liberals were calling me a rightist and a hardliner for opposing this war. And what have we done? 8 years. What have we achieved? Has there been even still, sadly, still there is no sense of understanding of the carnage, of the atrocities we have committed, both in Balochistan and in the tribal areas. There's still not, you do not see a proper debate going on in Pakistan. How can you deal with citizens? How can you deal with political problems through your military? It has been the most unfair thing we have ever done on our military people. And it is even a greater injustice done to those civilians being bombed. If you read the reports, every day you will see reports, so many militants killed. Have you ever read their names? How many times have you read the names of these people killed? Who are these people? There are bombings going on in villages. And all you read is 8 militants killed, 22. There was a report, 22 militants killed by a drone attack. Yesterday I had a delegation from North Waziristan. And they told me exactly what happened. 5 militants were killed by a drone attack. Or 5 people were killed by a drone attack. Everyone gathered around because there were a lot of limbless people because the injured screaming, so people gathered around. Another drone attack. All the people trying to save them, and another drone attack. And all of them were citizens, ordinary tribal people of Waziristan. What has happened here? Has there been any reaction? Has there been any, it's inside pages, you don't even mention that could they be innocent civilians who could have been killed? Have they any names? Are they Pakistani citizens? Do they have names? And on 14th, in Peshawar, I'm going to protest against this. And I will name you the people who've been killed. And you will find that they were ordinary citizens of North Waziristan, Pakistanis. And there will be no recourse to justice because guess who's withholding their names? The Pakistani government is conniving to stop this information from coming out. The Pakistani agencies are not allowing the local people to tell the truth. So these people who came to see me, they were so petrified that they don't know that what the agency would react. So Pakistan is conniving. There have been 22 journalists who have been murdered in the tribal areas just to bottle up the information. All the information only come from the army sources. We don't know who these people are being killed. And if all of you sitting there can just think about it for 1 minute. A bomb explodes in a village. You're not fighting against an army, tanks, positions. These are villages. A bomb explodes. How can you tell that the bomb will the shrapnel find out exactly who the militant is and will avoid the women and children? And then we wonder why so many people are becoming extremists in this country. So this war is creating extremists. We are polarizing our society. We are creating such a huge problem for ourselves that not many